Hello and welcome to episode 20 of Local to Global here on TEW9 with Castle Pro Wrestling based in Edinburgh, Scotland. We are on the road to Graps on the Grass Market. I keep calling it Graps at the Grass Market, Graps on the Grass Market. It's all over the place. We have a big lineup of shows today. So here's my plan. I am in the zone. You know when you get in those like rhythms with this sort of game. I have booked all 4 episodes of Live in Edinburgh in the span of about 15 minutes after recording the last one. So we're just going to do it now. This is going to be out on Monday the whatever of October. No, Thursday. This will be Thursday the 9th of October. This comes out. So I'm just gonna get it done. I'm in the zone. Now, this might be a shorter episode. I might just do February's Live in Edinburgh. I will see, because our next set of shows after this would be the March ones. So it depends on what my time schedule is. This might be a 25-minute episode. This might be a 45-minute episode. We'll decide afterwards. But I'm going to go straight ahead and get this booked. Nothing has happened. It's literally been 2 days since the last show. And I've got something, I think I've got some pretty decent stuff lined up. So I'll see you guys in just a second for some Live in Edinburgh, episode 23 to be precise. And we are live for episode 23 of Live in Edinburgh, held at a generic venue because just it's easier. And Doug Williams comes to the ring alone to start with, but he orders Nigel and Rampage to get out here right now. Doug says what happened a few days ago was a disgrace. A huge disgrace, quite frankly, for the firm. But more importantly, to Doug specifically. Doug trusted these two men. He brought them in. He didn't have to mentor anybody. He brought them in. And they've let him down. And he looks at Nigel and he says, it's obvious. We have a weak link in this group. But then he turns his attention to Rampage and says, it might be him. It might be you. He says it's simple. These next few weeks will be a trial series for both men. 3 singles matches, 3 wins is the bare minimum expected. And that will start for them tonight, right now in fact, with opponents to be announced. Doug's not going to tell them their opponents, they're going to have to get on with it and prove that they belong with the champ. He gets a 50 overall. It's a great start to the show. And in the first match, Nigel McGuinness does get the first of his 3 wins as he defeats Darren Burridge with the London Dungeon. It gets a 39. It's a good-ish match. Nigel with 31 is very sad. But Nigel gets the win. And up next, Rampage. He takes on Phil Powers. And he does get a very impressive win over the big Phil Powers, 9:44 with the Brain Buster Suplex. Phil Powers, by the way, putting a 39. That's a pretty good performance from him. Maybe Phil Powers should join a group. Maybe we should just use Phil Powers. But yeah, the firm, they kick off with a victory each. They're both 1-0 heading into next week's episode. Outside of the firm drama, we then have the Gravedigger defeating Jody Fleisch in the main event with the chokeslam. I don't remember if I've had these guys face up before, but they don't click and it hurt the performance. The Gravedigger with a 40, the match with a 42. But the main event segment is they are celebrating the Gravedigger's victory. And he says, now that the Dominator is in the past, his future is clear. It's never been so clear now that the Dominator is out the way, because the Dominator was holding him back from his true purpose here, and Rigor Mortis has been the one to unlock this for him as he makes the challenge. The Gravedigger wants a shot at the Castle Pro National Championship at Graps. I think Graps in the Grass. I've said every but way of this. Graps in, Graps on, Graps at. The Graps at the Grass Market show. It will maybe be the Gravedigger challenging for the national championship. It gets a 43. The show gets a 42, which is kind of bare minimum, really, so that's fine. That's fine. We're going to go book the next episode now, and hopefully we can bring those ratings up. And we kick off episode 24 of Live in Edinburgh with the Smashing Diamonds, and Chris Diamonds reiterates that it has been a rough few months for the group, and he wants more and better from Star and Roughneck. But Roughneck pushes back and he grabs a microphone off of Chris Diamond to say, look, you've belittled us for a year, and he's sick of it. This band is a joke. He only joined to be a bodyguard to beat people up, but this crap has gone on too far. Diamond gets in his face, tells him to get out of his ring, and Roughneck says gladly and slaps Diamond in the mouth on the way out. As the Smashing Diamonds turmoil everywhere, we're hinting at a Roughneck face turn, but he's not very good at playing a face, and he got little reaction, but we might persevere. We've not turned him yet. He has merely abandoned the Smashing Diamonds for the time being. I just thought, I wonder if this group is sort of reaching its natural conclusion. I know we've got the tease of an album release coming out. We can still do something with that as well. But Roughneck, is he out? He might be out with the Smashing Diamonds. And they have a match up next, by the way, as Jorge Castano and Juventud Guerrera defeat the Smashing Diamonds of Justin Starr and Chris Diamond when Jorge Castano pins Chris Diamond with a quick cradle. And in terms of the in-ring work, Juve finally put in one of those main event level performances with a 53, but Chris Diamond with a huge shock pinfall of Chris Diamond, which obviously will set up a STV title match between the two. 47 is a really strong match. We didn't have a really weak match as part of the Firm Series thing. Nigel McGuinness defeats PJ Black with the London Dungeon. It's another poor Nigel McGuinness performance. It's another poor segment rating as well, 35. Hopefully the next one does the business, as Rampage Brown joins his stablemate on 2 victories as he defeats Johnny Storm with the Brainbuster Suplex. Much better match here. Johnny Storm not really offering much of anything, quite frankly, but Rampage with a 50. Good stuff there. Both at 2-0, and afterwards in our main event segment, effectively, they're both 2-0. Doug comes down and congratulates them both. He's been very impressed. Very impressed. So impressed that they can have the week off next week to have some recovery time. Because in 2 weeks they have 2 huge matches, and he reminds them they have to win. He's not going to tell them their opponents, but they will find out in 2 weeks' time on Live in Edinburgh. We'll obviously cover that in like 5 minutes. As for the Gravedigger, that freak can wait. Doug's got more important business to attend to right now. And he gets a 47. The show gets a 43, which, I mean, doesn't result in any popularity changes. We've possibly exhausted our popularity for the month. I don't know. But I'm going to pause again and book episode number 25. And episode 25 kicks off with a bit of a barn burner, actually. It gets a 50 rating as Rigor Mortis and the Gravedigger defeat Jody Fleisch and PJ Black. When Rigor Mortis gets the win over PJ Black. Gravedigger 54. Jody Fleisch with a 50, by the way. Maybe we need to start incorporating Jody Fleisch again into the product, because that's really good. As you can see, we've really whittled down the roster that we're using for the taping this month. So I'm hoping that's going to help minimise some of our losses. But it's a good win for the 2 men. And afterwards, they keep beating them up. Rigor Mortis demands the Gravedigger punish PJ, not PK, and Jody further. And he does, nailing them both with Tombstone Piledrivers, as Rigor Mortis tells Doug that they're coming for him. Doug doesn't want to hear it, but they're coming for him. 43, good start to the show. And up next we have a decent match as Darren Burridge defeats Phil Powers in a throwaway. Let's see what these 2 guys can pull out. And Phil Powers looks the better of the 2, although Darren Burridge was off his game. But they were here, they might as well use them. Up next then, and about to our main event, another good segment for this show. So if the main event can deliver, this should be a pretty good effort from us. Jorge is backstage getting ready for his STV title match against Chris Diamond tonight, and Juvi's hyping him up, saying that tonight's your night, all that mentoring is about to pay off, and you're going to bring the gold back to us. That's what's going to happen. It gets a 51, and in the main event, it gets a 43 as Chris Diamond defeats Jorge Castano after grabbing a handful of tights to make defence number 5 of the STV title. The title is not coming to Jorge and Juvi, it's staying with the Smashing Diamonds. It's been a very turbulent TV taping for the Smashing Diamonds, but Chris Diamond does pull out the win at the struggled, but he got there in the end. It gets a 43. The show gets a 43, which I feel like is a bit unfair. But then I suppose when you look at the 3 match ratings, and obviously we are getting dinged for the live event experience, it's another 43. It's not the best, but it does advance things how I want it to advance. So, it'll be what it is. I'm going to get this next one booked, and we're going to find out what our attendance is, because we're running on cheap tickets for this show as well. And the answer is 263 people, which that's good. That's only like a 7-person drop-off, and we're charging more per ticket. So that's actually good news. And we start off with a pretty banging match, actually. Another 51 here as the Gravedigger defeats Luke Phoenix with the chokeslam. It's a really good performance by both men. You're probably wondering, where are the dojo, since they won the tag titles? I kind of forgot to book them initially, and then thought, well, I've got no plan for them this TV taping. So as far as we're concerned, they're all at the dojo training, and Luke's just come out of the dojo to have a match. That's definitely what happened. Gravedigger gets the win, and afterwards they get the microphone again, and they once again speak to Doug Williams and say that they know Doug is busy with his own family business. However, once this stupid nonsense is finished, the challenge still awaits, and if he doesn't accept this challenge, Mortis says they don't want to have to force Doug's hand. So what does that mean? We don't know, but it gets a 46. Pretty decent overall. We then go into a match I hoped was going to be a lot better than it ended up being. Yeah, I've got a 50, which is very good. Rampage Brown defeats Juventud Guerrera in 13th. That's a big win for Rampage. That's a former national champion he's just defeated. And he gets a 41 because he was really off his game. Juve dropped to 47. If Rampage was on his game, I think we're looking at a 55-60 for this match, which is pretty annoying. And afterwards, Doug comes down to the ring after Rampage's huge win over Juve and says, "Congratulations, my brother, you're still in the firm." Shakes his hands and gives him a hug. He says he wanted Rampage to have a real challenge, so his greatest rival was the best that he could think of, and Rampage has passed it with flying colours. As for Nigel, he's also facing someone who has held the Scottish national title. However, unfortunately for Nigel, it's the current Scottish national champion, as Doug lays in a cheap shot and the match begins. It gets a 50, and in the match, Doug Williams defeats Nigel McGuinness with the Chaos Fury in 15 minutes. The match gets a 52, Doug drops a 59, Nigel with a slightly improved 33. However, Rampage went 3-0, Nigel has gone 2-1, and Doug beats down and bloodies Nigel after the match. Rampage comes down and tells Doug to get off of his partner, as Doug does indeed decide to let up. Rampage helps Nigel to his feet, and he's keeping Doug away. He's like, "Doug, stay away. You've done enough." Before he turns around and destroys his tag team partner with a lariat, as Doug joins in and officially tells Nigel, "You're out of the firm." He gets a 62. It's a fantastic main event angle and a fantastic show. A 51. And the worst thing was a promo at 46. 3 very good matches, 51, 50, 52. And yes, Nigel McGuinness is out of the firm. We have crucially, however, not turned him babyface yet. because I don't know what the long-term plan is for Nigel. Obviously, he'll get some sort of revenge. I think the logical route is to go Nigel versus Rampage at Graps in the Grass Market, but we'll see. Financial report, we've lost 8,200, so we have lost less on the show because the ticket sales were stronger, so that's good, and we've unfortunately not gone up any popularity points. However, we are at 1 across all of Europe, so there we go. We do have to start thinking soon about Northern England and also Ireland. I think there is scope to consider start running shows over there. The problem we've got with that is that the show costs are very expensive because we have to keep them at a certain level for STV. And I just don't think financially it's going to be remotely worth it to run shows in Ireland or Northern England at this moment in time. I definitely want to. Part of my plans is to start running shows across the UK, and we are a little bit off TV deals as well, where I think there's UTV has coverage in Northern England, Ireland and Scotland, but I need to be it's quite a high number in 2 regions, and I just don't have the financial capabilities to successfully do that by running shows in Ireland, for example, or Northern England. So that's one of the issues we're sort of running into, is that we're kind of stuck in this weird limbo where we're on STV, we're only being shown in Scotland, but we want to expand further, but we just we're not financially able to do so at this moment in time. This is one of the fun challenges about doing it in Scotland. Chris Charisma's apparently changed his body type, so that's good. We've got 2,000 viewers for the first episode. The 4th episode should draw in a pretty good audience. And as you can see, we're down 10,000 this month. So we are better than we were in December, which is good. That's genuinely good, because we've made more money on ticket sales in December, made more broadcast revenue, made more sponsorship by the time the sponsorship comes in. Another $2,000 nearly. And the merchandise should go up a little bit, maybe. We're in an interesting position, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do another episode of Live in Edinburgh on this episode. I'm going to wrap up this part of the recording in a moment, and I'm going to skip to the end of February. And then I think we're going to have a real look at what's going on financially and I'll have that discussion with you guys about what we think we should do. So I'm going to be back in just a little second, and we will have a little chat about what the future is for Castle Pro on STV. So we've reached the end of February, we're in the 1st of March now, and we did get 2,000 viewers again on our Live in Edinburgh taping, so it's getting better. Now, I've not actually clicked next to this next page, so I don't actually know what the money situation looks like. We lost $9,500 the last month. It's not great, is it? It's not great at all. And that's with huge money on ticket sales. So, here's my thinking. We only have one set of tapings for Live in Edinburgh, and I don't believe can get out. Now we'd have to pay 50,000 to get out of that TV deal. Which, what about for it? We could cancel the events deal. They're not fussed about that one, but so we're on for another 16th of June. So let's have a little look at this. So 21st of March, 18th of April, 16th of May. And then I guess this one would just run for one episode, I think. So let me know what you guys think, because to me, I think the logical solution might be to run events only, to bring Live in Edinburgh back as an event. But rather than making it monthly, we could make it every 2 weeks. So we'd run 2 shows a month, but we'd have normal ticket prices. And you saw what happened with the other one. The other option is we could risk running one Live in Edinburgh event a month and see what that does. I don't know. Because, as I said, you look at January and you see what we did running just the tapings. It's not pretty. It's really not pretty. You look at what we did with the 2 tapings compared to what we did with the 2 tapings in December. We've lost 3,000 less. We used similar on workers, similar on show costs, similar on marketing, similar on merch, and similar on production. The big difference was ticket sales. Broadcast revenue was much bigger as well compared to 295. Like, the broadcast revenue is going up, which is good. And even like if you compare January to November, you can see the big difference. The broadcast revenue is going up when we get more viewers, and also I think switching to daytime has helped with that as well. Sponsorships are going up. They're 6,500 roughly a month, and merchandise is nearly $3,000 when we run 2 shows. When we run 1 show, it's just 1,000 something. So it's a real interesting decision to make, because at some point I feel like you have to ask the question, what benefit are we getting out of being on TV? We're spending a lot of money on the production, and I just don't think we're getting anything back out of it currently. So it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. I will probably record at least 1 or 2 episodes before this one gets to you guys. And we're not cancelling the TV deal. The TV runs until June. We're keeping it until the 16th of June. The question becomes, do we want to extend the coverage after that, or do we want to just stick with events? I am leaning at this moment in time, 3 months away still, so plenty of time, to letting the TV deal expire and bringing Live in Edinburgh back as an event and seeing what happens with that. Because Ireland and Northern England are at 7. And if we look at the broadcasters for UTV, who are Northern England, Scotland and Ireland, 29 in 2 regions. It's going to take a very long time to get up there for Ireland or Northern England. And there's no one else really. This is probably the most logical next step, I think, is UTV. Unless we can really get up to... For some reason we've got 2 ITV2s. I think because I've imported some stuff. Like we've got 2 Bravos, 2 Channel 5s, 2 Challenges, 2 Extreme Sport channels. Whatever, it's just more TV options. Who cares, really, at this point? This one made 35 and 2 for small coverage everywhere. So it's like, you could get onto UTV at 29 for like a year, or 9 months to a year, and then go on to ITV2. But I don't know. It's a very interesting predicament we've ended up in here. The other option is Setanta Sport. We could look at Setanta. I don't remember that being the Setanta logo. And that would give us coverage in 2 areas of Europe as well. We are products wrong for the broadcaster style though, because they're high risk and we are apparently we're not compatible. But it's an interesting one. It's a very, very interesting decision we've got to make. contract-wise, we're absolutely fine for the moment in time, and this is our current big issue, I think, is Nigel McGuinness. Because he is struggling big time. I've been plastering creative ideas on him, and his momentum is just in the toilet at the moment. I can't get it out. Whereas like Doug's like white hot. I mean, Doug is an absolute beast of a man. What's his human torture device? And then obviously Rampage Brown as well is doing some bits as a tiny little 17-year-old. He got a big win over Hoovy, which has kept his popularity at... It's dropped his popularity. I don't even know. I don't know. But Gravedigger's up to 35, which is good. He's gone up 5 points this month. So he's back up to being a star. Actually, if we have a look at this, let's have a little look at our overview. We'll do it by perception. We've got 2 major stars, which are both in the firm. Diamond, Juventud, and Gravedigger are our stars. Dominator has dropped to well known, which is unfortunate, but fear not, Dominator fans. He's gone down 6 points since his peak. He is not out of the picture here. Don't worry at all. The Dominator is still a massive part of our plans. I have some things roadmapped out for a few months, so we should be good. I just need to remember to actually do them when I come back from holiday. But let me know what you guys think, TV wise. What should we do? Should we stick and renew the contract for Live in Edinburgh on STV? I don't personally think it's worth it financially. I think we are so lucky we did this alliance crap for 1 month. If we were still in the alliance, I would just keep with STV because screw it, we're making money hand over fist. But I didn't like that. And you guys still haven't seen that since I recorded it. But I don't like it. I did it with the WCW save as well. And I didn't like... I mean, we're still kind of doing it there, but for how long, I don't know. I agree with people that it's quite cheap to do. But doing that gave us this big windfall to experiment. And the experiment with TV, I think currently, is proving to be a bit of a dismal failure. We've lost a lot of money with minimal gain. We've gained 5 points of popularity since we hit small size. Like, we've stagnated. It was up to, when we got to here. We are gaining an average of just under 1 a month. We didn't gain at all between January and February. It's not ideal. And I'm very curious what you think we should do. But I'm going to leave it there. It's a slightly shorter episode this time. I appreciate that. I'm just wanting to get another one out before I go away and get myself as prepared as possible. So thanks so much for all your support. Again, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think of the plans with the firm breaking up. To an extent, is a new member going to join the firm? Is there anyone on this roster list that you feel like could be an obvious candidate? I'm looking around and I am seeing a couple names that I think might be good shouts, and I'll point them out quickly. I think Dean Allmark is a potential candidate for the firm. I think Roughneck could be a potential candidate for the firm. Maybe Tex Benedict could be a candidate. We've got Phil Powers. He's a face, but he could be a candidate as well. John Ryan, who has just fallen off the face of the earth recently, but we'll use him again soon, don't worry. Could be a contender as well. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. Drop a like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you guys for the next episode of Local to Global. We'll book some more live in Edinburgh. We'll probably do... Is it one live in Edinburgh we're doing in March? 2, yeah, so we'll do live in, next episode will be live in Edinburgh and Graps on the Grass Market, which we will have to change the day of most likely because it is going to fall on a tour day. So while we were here, we will quickly just actually do that. So we just want to shift it to the Sunday. What day is it currently? The 13th. We want to move it to the 15th. Boom. There we go. Everybody's available. We're just trying to maximize our roster as much as we can. So anyway, thanks for watching. Peace out, all that fun stuff, and let me know what you think. But like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time, and goodbye.